Robberies and hijackings remain a serious safety concern in South Africa, especially in major cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. This video is presented strictly for educational and awareness purposes under YouTube's guidelines. Our goal is to help viewers recognize warning signs, understand how real incidents unfold, and make safer decisions in dangerous situations. Awareness and preparation can save lives. At this moment, a white vehicle is seen waiting on an empty street, using the quiet surroundings to its advantage. It moves forward slowly and blocks the path of an approaching white van, forcing the driver to stop with no escape. Seconds later, armed individuals jump out of the small car and rush toward the van, immediately taking control. The driver is pulled out, and for his safety, he complies as they force him into the back seat of the white car. One hijacker gets into the van, and both vehicles drive away almost at the same time. A passenger steps out of a silver Mercedes, stopped just behind the property gates, unaware that a gray car is waiting about 30 meters away. Within moments, armed individuals jump out of the gray vehicle and rush straight toward the Mercedes. The passenger tries to run, while the driver steps out but is immediately confronted at gunpoint. The attackers grab hold of the driver, take the car keys, and move quickly. Two hijackers jump into the Mercedes, start the engine, and both vehicles speed away from the scene, almost at the same time. Left behind, the shocked owner calls for help as the hijackers disappear down the road. It is midday in Pretoria, and a bank cash-in-transit van is parked on the street, while two armed officers stand nearby, watching over a routine collection. The area seems calm, but the situation changes instantly when a man with a gun rushes straight toward them. Almost immediately, more robbers appear from different angles, all armed and moving with purpose. They point their guns at the officers, leaving them with no safe option but to hold their positions. The attackers quickly take the money, working with practiced coordination. Without hesitation, the robbers walk away from the scene and disappear, leaving the officers and bystanders stunned by how fast the entire robbery unfolded. The driver of a black pickup steps out of his vehicle, unaware that two armed robbers are already running toward him. The moment he sees the attackers approaching with guns, he quickly escapes, choosing the safest option to avoid being confronted. The robbers reach the pickup and immediately begin smashing the window, hitting it repeatedly until the glass finally breaks. A silver car then pulls up beside them, acting as the getaway vehicle. Working fast, the robbers remove goods from the pickup, load them into the silver car, and jump inside. Within seconds, they speed away, leaving the scene behind as the driver seeks help. The driver of a white Toyota Jeep stands beside his vehicle after buying a few items, briefly checking his phone and unaware of the danger approaching. A white Jeep pulls in nearby, and within seconds, four armed robbers get out and rush toward him. They point their weapons, take his belongings, and grab the car keys. Three robbers jump into the hijacked Jeep, and both vehicles speed off, leaving the owner shocked and helpless. The driver of a white Porsche begins turning into a private property when a silver car ahead suddenly stops in the middle of the road. It then reverses toward the entrance, clearly trying to block the Porsche's path. A moment later, an armed robber jumps out and points a gun toward the driver, attempting to force him to stop. Reacting immediately, the Porsche driver backs up, strikes the attacker's vehicle, and accelerates away at high speed, escaping the attempted hijacking. It is a quiet Friday afternoon inside a small consulting office, but without any announcement or sound, the office door bursts open. 6 men rush into the room with shocking speed. Several of them are armed with large machetes, and their aggressive movements instantly turn the office into a scene of fear. The consultant freezes in his chair, and the client looks up in disbelief as the attackers spread out inside the room. The robbers begin shouting orders immediately. One of them raises his machete toward the client and commands him to lie flat on the ground. The client obeys at once, understanding that any hesitation could make things worse. Another robber points his weapon directly at the business owner, forcing him to stay still and comply. While the victims are subdued, the group moves through the office with purpose. Another empties pockets and bags. Drawers are yanked open, cabinets are searched, and any item with value is taken quickly. Their movements are practiced and efficient, suggesting they know exactly what they want and how to get it without wasting time. After grabbing everything that is visible, the robbers demand something more valuable: access to the safe. They order the owner to get up and open it. Their tone becomes louder and more threatening as he is pushed toward the safe. His hands shake as he tries to enter the code. The pressure is intense, and the robbers grow impatient, shouting at him to hurry. After several attempts, the safe finally unlocks. The moment the door swings open, the attackers rush forward. They grab cash, documents, electronic devices, anything inside that can be carried. Items meant to be secure behind heavy metal doors are taken in a matter of seconds. The victims remain on the floor, helpless to stop any of it. Before leaving, the robbers issue another round of threats. They warn the victims not to move, not to shout, and not to call for help until they are long gone. Then, keeping their weapons raised, they slowly back out of the office and disappear into the hallway. Even after the door closes, the victims stay completely still. A long, tense silence fills the room as they wait, unsure if the attackers might return. Seconds feel like minutes while they listen for footsteps or voices. After the robbery, the owner slowly lifts his head, trying to see if the danger has passed. But before he can fully rise, one of the robbers suddenly returns, stepping back into the room with a sharp metal tool in his hand. He threatens the owner, ordering him to stay down and not move. The victim freezes again, terrified, as the attacker backs away and disappears from view. It is evening in Johannesburg, and a sky-blue Audi sedan pulls into a petrol station. The driver parks beside the pump and waits for an attendant to assist him. Everything seems ordinary until a white Mercedes arrives and stops close to the Audi, positioning itself in a suspicious way. Within seconds, 2 armed robbers jump out of the Mercedes, and a third man joins them as they rush straight toward the Audi. They pull the driver from the vehicle and threaten him while demanding his belongings. Realizing the danger, the victim immediately turns and runs from the scene, trying to create distance and reach safety. The robbers quickly climb into the Audi, start the engine, and together with the Mercedes, speed out of the petrol station, escaping within moments. A A white Jeep waits at a red light on a quiet street, the driver unaware of what is about to unfold. From behind, a bronze-colored Mercedes approaches at speed and then suddenly swerves in front of the Jeep, blocking the road completely. Within seconds, 3 armed robbers jump out of the Mercedes and rush toward the Jeep with their guns raised. They surround the vehicle and pull the driver out, forcing him to the side while one of the attackers threatens him and demands the keys. 2 robbers climb into the Jeep, start the engine, and both vehicles accelerate away from the intersection, leaving the shaken driver behind as the scene ends almost as quickly as it began. A Volkswagen Golf waits at the entrance of a private property, stopping behind the closed gates as the driver prepares to enter. When the gate finally opens, the Golf begins driving inside, unaware that danger is approaching from the street. Almost immediately, 2 cars carrying robbers arrive outside. Several armed men jump out and rush through the open gate, running into the yard with their guns raised and pointing toward the Golf. Startled, the owner tries to reverse quickly, nearly hitting the attackers as they attempt to surround the vehicle. Realizing the situation is falling apart, the robbers turn and flee back toward the street. As they escape, someone from the property runs out from the house and hurriedly closes the gate, trying to secure the area after the attempted attack. In Pretoria, a vehicle travels along a busy street when the car in front suddenly brakes hard, forcing it to stop. Within seconds, 4 armed robbers jump out of the front vehicle and rush toward the trapped driver. They pull him from his car, leaving him shocked and helpless, before forcing him inside their own vehicle. The hijackers then take control of the victim's car, and both vehicles speed away from the scene. On a quiet street, a robber dressed in black approaches a man and attempts to rob him, but the victim manages to escape and runs toward a nearby property. Moments later, the robber appears again inside the yard, now armed with an AK-47. Another robber follows behind him and a third joins the chase. Together, they rush toward the entrance, trying to force their way through the doors. One attacker threatens a person standing outside as the group attempts to gain access before the scene abruptly ends. Just a few minutes earlier, a white Volkswagen had been hijacked in Johannesburg, taken from a known drug gang member who was targeted for a very specific reason. After seizing the vehicle, the hijacker turns off the main road, attempting to find a quieter place to stop. 2 vehicles belonging to the gang follow closely, stopped on the road nearby. Moments later, several men rush toward the Volkswagen with urgency, clearly expecting something important to be inside. They move quickly, checking the ground, looking through the windows, and searching the front seats. More individuals arrive, joining the search as the group becomes increasingly determined. They open doors, inspect compartments, and look through every possible hiding place, convinced the car contains something of high value. Their movements show a clear purpose. This is not a random hijacking, but a targeted recovery. The men search intensely, trying to find whatever the hijacker believed he could take with him, as the situation unfolds in full view on the street. On a narrow uphill street, a driver's dash camera captures a white BMW stopping suddenly ahead. Within seconds, 3 armed robbers jump out and begin chasing toward the approaching vehicle. Realizing the danger instantly, the driver accelerates in reverse and manages to escape the attempted hijacking. Robberies and hijackings in South Africa remain a daily reality, affecting people from every background and in every type of neighborhood. The incidents shown in this video reveal just how quickly these crimes unfold and how little time victims often have to react. Moments of routine life, stopping at a traffic light, arriving home, or parking at a petrol station, can change without warning. The purpose of examining these real situations is not to create fear, but to understand the patterns behind them. Awareness and preparation are powerful tools. Being alert to unusual behavior, keeping distance from suspicious vehicles, and avoiding predictable routines can make a difference. And when confronted by armed attackers, cooperating and focusing on survival is always the safest response. By studying these events, we learn how to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. Stay aware, stay cautious, and always prioritize your safety. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more awareness content.